touch on two styles. And it depends how the tree looks and how it's going to come out. Moyogi style is the informal upright. And the Moyogi style tree has a lot of movement, and then the apex at the top here falls right at the base of the tree. Okay, Moyogi style. The shotgun style or slant style will move one way or the other from the base of the tree, but the apex falls one side or the other of the base of the tree. Okay, so that's the major differences. And when we're styling the branches, ideally you want to have the lowest branches, the longest branches. So the lowest branch, say the first branch would be the lowest branch would be the longest. And as it goes up the tree, they get shorter. So this would be longest, would be a back branch. And this is sort of the foliage that's going to create. And we use junipers a lot of times for beginning classes because it shows the design better, and you kind of come away with some kind of design tree that shows that shape better. Okay. Now, I mean, I had other trees that were like Cotoneaster and different other trees, but the foliage isn't as bushy, and this kind of gives you that finished product a little bit. Okay, so anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little demo of wiring, and what we usually do is try to have let me back up a little bit. Now, why I mentioned these two styles is, you know, one has the apex right above the base of the tree, and the other one has one side or the other. We don't always design a tree to fit a style, unless it's for a class or something, but we usually kind of work on the tree, and sometimes it'll come out this way, and sometimes it'll come out that way. So you don't have to force it into a certain style. Okay, so I got one of the trees here. So when we do initial wiring, you want to take a look at your tree and see, you know, what would give you the most movement on the tree. What would be the best front? Sometimes when we're wiring, you know, we think, okay, well this looks like the best front here, but after we get it all wired, sometimes that changes. So you don't have to be, because the biggest wire would need the biggest limb you're going to bend. So I'm going to probably wire this tree. Let's see. And then what we do is, if we're bending the trunk, we anchor the wire into the soil, probably a couple inches or so. And all the books tell you to do like a 45-degree angle up the tree. The farther you put the wire up the tree, sometimes it doesn't give you as much bending action. And so you want to have a uniform placement of the wire. Also, if you do it too close, the wire too close to each other, then it's like a spring, you know, it kind of doesn't give you the full strength of the wire. So you want to do about a 45-degree angle and go up at an even pace up the tree. And sometimes it's a little difficult if there's a lot of bending in the trunk. I should put my glasses on. Oh, it's a juniper. So we want to try not to wire down any branches or foliage. And I'm thinking this is gonna be my apical top coming up like this. So I'm gonna bring that wire up the trunk. Now, sometimes you'll have branches, you know, all over the place, but you don't want to have it inside a bin. You want to kind of get rid of those branches that are inside a bin, because what it does is if you're designing the tree, it takes away from the movement of the trunk. So if there's no branches inside the inner side of the bin, then you'll see that bend and movement better. So actually there was a little, there's a little branch inside this bin here I'm gonna take out. But we don't have to cut all the branches, you know, till it's necessary. Okay, so. Oh, and I didn't even say this, I just kind of did it naturally, but when you're putting wire on a branch, say this is your trunk or branch, you want to anchor it in the soil and then move it up. And as you're going up the tree, you want to move your fingers up near the base of that wire. So it gives you a little more leverage on putting the wire on the trunk or branch. So it kind of move it up. Let's see. Okay. So now that I have, I'm kind of thinking that this might be my front here, somewhere right in here. And I'm gonna bring these branches down kind of horizontal. And in this Moyogi and Shakan style, to make it a tree look older, you make the branches descending. You have them come down like this. If it's a young tree you see in your yard, a sapling or something, the branches go up like this. But you know, bonsai styling, you always want to make it look as old as possible. So we try to make the branches descending. Okay, let's see. Any questions, just holler out. I mean, don't be afraid. No question is stupid. Okay, so the next.
How long have you been doing bonsai?
How long have I been doing bonsai? Since 1970, I guess. Okay, the next wire, what you want to do is you want to follow the line. Oh, I forgot. Let me go back. I have to kind of just do it automatically. You want to use both ends of the wire when we're wiring branches. It saves time, and it also helps the wire to get anchored to another branch. So I'm going to wire this branch and this, hopefully this branch together, one end and one on the other. And we bring enough wire to the bottom branch. I like to kind of secure it, wrap it around once. And then I'll bring the wire up to the next branch. And you don't want to, ideally you don't want to cross the wires. It's better to go on the same track. There's a couple reasons. One reason is that it's easier to take off if you don't have to take off all the wires. If they're crossing, you might have to take one wire off to get to another. And the other reason is that, let's see, do this before. It makes it look neater. So we want it to look nice too when we're done. You know, you could tell sometimes in a show, I should probably say this, but sometimes in a show, you could tell when there are maybe some beginners, actually for a show you shouldn't have wire on the tree ideally, but you know, sometimes beginners will put wire on crooked or overlapping, and so let's try to make it neat. Okay, so I wired this branch and this branch above. I'm going to bring this down, and when I say descending, the branch is descending from the trunk. You want it to, like say, let me take it. So if the branch comes out here, we want it to actually come down from the trunk. We don't want it to come up like this and come down. We want it to have a nice angle going down, descending. So that's why when we wire, we got to bring that wire close to the base of the tree, base of the branch, and then you get a better angle that way. Now, initially, these two branches are right above each other, and so in order to spread them apart a little, we bring one. I'm going to bring the one back and this other one forward. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the apex come up just one more bend, and then I'm going to. It's almost done, really. And I'm going to choose some other branches I may not need.
So why is it a good idea not to have one branch right over top of the other branch?
Well, if you have in nature, just even on your bonsai trees, if you have a branch above another, then it blocks the light getting to the lower one, and so it makes the lower one weaker. Okay. So that's why we try to spread out the branches so the branches get even lighting. Okay, so I'm going to wire this branch with my apex. Oh wait, no, I got another one here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to do this back branch with this branch outside the bend here. Put those together. Everybody's so quiet. You don't have a question? No questions?
Yeah, right.
What's the rule for deciding what size wire to use?
Oh, that's a very good question. Okay, so before I answer that, if you have two wires or two branches on a tree that you're wiring, one on one end of the wire, one on the other end, you want to anchor one first and then bring it up, and it should ideally have a couple loops between branches, a couple loops of wire on the trunk, because that'll secure the branch so that if you move one, you're not going to be moving the other. Okay. Okay. What was your question again?
How do you know what size wire to select?
Okay. Well, one easy way of looking at it is you could say, okay, I need a wire to wire this branch here. If it's too weak, you could just do a little test. Well, you could just do a little test. Okay, and if the branch moves with this wire and stays down, then it's probably strong enough. Sometimes you might need a little stronger one, and that kind of tests how strong a wire you need. So this one might be better. Yeah, so this one's better because we got a kind of a thick trunk here. Okay, So usually we think about sizing wire, like if you had, we're gonna use aluminum wire. Oh, there's two kinds of wire mainly we use. Anodized aluminum, which is kind of this dark coated aluminum wire. And the other one is annealed copper, which is a heat treated copper. Most classes will do the annealed aluminum, the anodized aluminum, because it's one cheaper and it's kind of easier for beginners to bend. The copper wire, once you apply it, if you don't get it on pretty good the first time, it's hard to unwrap it and put it out again. It just kind of freezes up and it kinks up. So the aluminum wire is a little more forgiving. That's why we're using that for this class. So we're lucky we got a instructor for each person, so we get a one-on-one education here this morning. Okay.
How do you know when to take the wire off?
Well, some of it is, I'm taking little small wires, branches off so I can get the wire in there. Some of it is just knowledge from experience, but one true thing is if you leave it on too long, it's gonna dig into the bark, right? It's gonna get that girdle look, and that's a big no-no. So when you look at trees in a show, if you see the girdled branch, you know that artist kept that wire on too long. So we want to take it off before that. But normally when we first do a wiring, like say this is before spring comes out, we'll probably take this wire off in about maybe 3 months, okay? If we wired because we're getting some growth in the spring, when you get growth, then the branches enlarge. So you gotta really make sure you don't leave the wire on too long. But the branches enlarge and then it holds the shape of the branch when it's growing like that. If you wire in the fall, it might take till next spring for that branch to hold. Okay, so it's a few months to maybe 6 months, depending on how when you start the wiring application. Okay, let's see. So it's coming together. I'm going to bring this one up. And I'll probably wire one of these. Maybe one of these here to that one. Okay. So,
While Lindsay's doing that, Joe, can we do a quick introduction
Sure.
about the program and about the instructors we have today?
Yes,
Awesome, thank you.
so this came about through GSBF, the Golden State Bonsai Federation, and it's called the Give Back Program. And over the years, Lindsay and I have been talking about getting our new people involved in bonsai, from learning how to repot and style and things like that. Oh, by the way, my name is Joe Galvo. I'm the president of Baikoen, and Lindsay's also the vice president and our chair program for our show. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go around the table and introduce you guys.
Mark Zatkowski.
Mike Kelly.
Okay,
Michael Roberts.
I'm Joey Edelman.
Brian Pitts.
Radford Hunt. Rick.
Adriana.
Steve Riley.
Ryan Graham.
Sandra Say.
Malaketa.
James Pye.
Bill Ward.
Ken Struckers. Okay, I wanna thank you for taking part in this class. So like I said, the program was put on by GSBF, and out of all the clubs in Southern California and Northern California, we all submitted a kind of like a grant where Tom, myself, Shirley, and Lindsay, we got together and we kind of threw things together, and then Tom wrote it all up, and we got picked as 5 of the clubs to put on a program. And so they gave us a $500 grant to do this program, and it paid for most of it. That's why we charged a little bit more, because it didn't quite cover the class. But you're gonna end up with a bag, a tree, in a pot, And, instructors, there's a bag for you guys too, okay? And there's, inside the bag is chopsticks and a pair of scissors. And, there's, also instructions how to maintain your tree, okay? So, in the future, we're gonna try to put a couple more classes together. And like I said, it's just to get everybody introduced to bonsai, because we're getting a lot of new people. And when I got in it 15 years ago, nobody was doing classes, and I joined this club. And I was fortunate to get in Lindsay's class, and I met Tom, and I took that basic, intermediate, and advanced. The basic thing about doing bonsai, you don't wanna be cutting the tree wrong. And so once you know the style of the tree and how it's supposed to be laid out, it's so much easier. You start cutting the top off, and then you style the bottom, and then there's no tree. So that's the whole thing about learning the basic fundamentals about bonsai. There's a lot of rules, but there's a lot of basic rules, and that's what we wanna teach you guys, and keep you guys, so you know, as you're building your tree, what it should look like. So, and I wanna thank everybody for participating in the program today. So, I'm gonna turn it back over to Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, so basically, this is the shape of the tree. The base is here, it goes back and forth. The apex is over here, so which one is it? Is it a moyogi or a shotgun style? Shotgun, so it's a slant style, because the apex is on one side or the other. And then, what were those pots you said?
Try over here. In that box.
Oh,
There's one right here.
Oh, he's back. He's good.
Oh, okay. So, at the end, after we wire, we're gonna show you how to repot it. You put a piece of screen, hey, piece of screen in the bottom to keep the soil in. And,
We'll have to change it to make it fit.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's the focus I was wondering. So this is the pot that you guys are gonna be repotting into. Should I go ahead and repot this to one, or wait till later?
Oh, you can pot it and show.
Okay, I'll
And then,
go.
that way, everybody knows what we're doing.
Yeah, where we're headed to.
When you go into repot it, you could angle it, right? Would that change it from a Shikan to a Myogi if you changed it?
Well, you could, but you'd have to, okay, so the apex comes over like this, right? You could bring it over farther, but you'd have to kind of readjust all the branches, but yeah, you could do that. It's not set in where it's at, I mean, you can
Right.
make it more slanted. Okay. So the soil's in here?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not kitty litter.
What's that?
That's not kitty litter, it's bonsai
Oh,
litter.
okay, all right, that's good. So, I did another tree at home yesterday, and the soil's kind of falling apart, but anyway, so this one is more of a moyogi style, I would say. It's gonna be like this, where the apex is above the base. And, now this pot has 2 holes, so what I did is I put the wire through the holes like this. And this is, most often the cases, we wire first the screen into the pot. But kind of save the step, I just put this is like a guy wire to hold the tree into the pot, these bigger ones. So I just kind of save the step a little bit. And when we get to this point where we're repotting, we just wanna only take just enough soil off or roots off to fit it in the pot the first time. We don't wanna overdo it because you don't wanna shock the tree.
Can you tell them what the purpose of the screen is for?
Yeah, the screen is for keeping the soil in.
And keeping the bugs out.
Well, I guess it does keep it. Okay.
And why do we wire the tree in the pot.
Okay, so that's what this is a wire to wire the root ball into the pot so that it makes it home. And then if you got a windy place, it keeps the tree sturdy in the pot and it roots out better. Keeps it from, the roots from getting damaged and, or your dog jumps on the bonsai bench and keeps your tree in the pot. Okay, so the soil's in here?
Yeah, so we're using a 1-2-3 mix. It's agadama, soya, and pumice.
Okay, so your instructor will help you place the tree in the pot. We put a little bit of soil in the bottom. And we kind of make a little concave dip on the bottom of the root ball. So that's why we make like a little mound of soil in the bottom. And we squish that root ball over that mound. Okay. And you can use, does everybody have a chopstick in their bag?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So the reason why we have a chopstick is if you get hungry later, no, we use it for putting the soil in the air pockets. We want to get rid of all the air pockets in your root balls, because what happens is, I mean, you might not think it's that big a deal, but if you have an air pocket in there, the roots dry all around where that hole is, that cavity, and so you don't get good rootage and roots growing back into the new soil.
Would you typically repot at this point, or would you let it grow out for a couple years first?
Well, I personally like to let it grow and develop, and I mean, okay, let's put it this way. I have some trees that I've been growing for 30 years that aren't in a pot yet. It just depends how much you want it mature to get it in the final pot. I kind of think of it as like a frame on a picture. So when you get your picture done or finished, then you want to get a nice frame for it. But we're doing it this way so that you get some practice
Right.
of repotting. But I kind of like to let it breathe a little and get some new growth in there.
It'll also, the trunk will get bigger, right? It'll strengthen up and,
Yeah, it'll kind of strengthen when you get new growth coming out like this. Oh, let's back up a little. That's a good question. When we're trimming the tree, you're taking a lot of the foliage off, and so you're allowing the roots to you're allowing the tree to compensate for cutting the roots. So when we repot right away, it does help to have the roots, when we're cutting it, it helps to compensate, because we cut the top foliage. So when you go, say later on, when you go to repot it, if you don't do it right away, you may want to thin it out a little bit first and then repot it again. But sometimes it takes, sometimes it takes a while to get the right pot for the tree. Like Joe's been looking for a pot for his olive for a while, and just the right pot. So, pot's pretty important.
You want the pot to complement the tree. You don't want the pot to be, remember, the tree is what you're focusing on. So you don't want a super duper pot to take away from the tree. What you'll see a lot of people do, they have you look at it and go, wow, look at that pot, and it's too much for the tree, and you're not seeing the tree. So,
You don't wanna stick a really nice tree in a GPS spot.
well, that's why we're looking for pots.
Gotta find the middle
You have a little plier? So once I got the wire, the root ball set in there, I put the wire in over the root ball. I'm gonna kind of twist it.
Is there particular kinds of pot for particular kinds of trees?
There is, but that's another class.
We have a video for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's, that's another art in itself, picking the right pot for the tree, so. But anyway.
Ta-da!
Okay, so there we go. There's your whole picture. Okay, so instructors, help your students get the wire. We have wire up here if you want to cut some.
So you wanna use your own, oh God.
Well, I'm sure there's gonna be other needs for the other ones too,
So on a thing this size, whatever, I lost it.
Let's just do it.
These are all steps you're not gonna need much.
Right.
Okay, what I do is I put my thumb on here and then
This stuff in there.
some of the stuff, you don't have, you can just, break it off by hand. Okay. So could we live without that branch? If we have that as our, yeah, we haven't got.
Okay,
We haven't got.
thank you. Don't let me interrupt, okay.
Because this is sitting on top of it.
Yeah,
If we
yeah.
pull that up again, then is it blocked by this?
Well, it won't be if we do it here. Because these pretty much feed this. Right. Okay, so you don't necessarily need that as much. Grab it right there. Right, yep, and then try to get as close to the.
Oh, because we're actually pulling down
Pull,
there. Okay.
pull it towards you a little bit. Pull. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of put this in there. Now, depends on the look a lot. Are you recording this?
Slant, but what we'd probably end up doing is bending this back up, moving that over, moving that back, something like that. And it would still be a slant like this, or you can choose on the best movement of the trunk and the best base. This has no base because it's just basically a cutting. It's been seated. So there's a couple of. Sure.
This kind of seems like they're kind of the same.
The old style. How do you do this by yourself?
As long as you do a clean cut on these vine roots, it will end up getting more roots. And then and generally
All right, Rad. What do you got? What happened today?
Oh, what happened is I learned a lot about the design and having an idea in mind what you want to end up with as far as the tree goes. I learned a lot about wiring and proper techniques rather than just throwing it on, and ended up with a beautiful tree with a great person to instruct me.
Awesome. You're really not a beginner, so was this really helpful having a one-on-one still?
Yeah, I have a lot to learn still, especially when you think about folks that have been doing it for 60 years and say they're still learning. So I've been doing it a very short period of time and obviously have a lot to learn, and I'm very happy for these classes.
So, if it's one like lesson that you learned, or one gold nugget that you learned from today, what would that be?
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
Yeah, like one thing that you learned today. What was that one thing?
Proper wiring.
Awesome.
Proper wiring, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Good propaganda.
And,
Yeah.
take the high ones and then the
This
bottom.
one, yeah. And then what, like this little...
Natural? Looks more natural,
So,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
it
broke
definitely
off.
does. Yeah.
So, can I bother you for a couple seconds here?
yeah.
And your name is?
Adriana.
Adrian. So, what were you expecting out of this workshop today?
I have no idea. I have no experience with bonsai, so I don't know what I expected, but I'm learning a lot more. Like, I had no idea. I had no idea how like you make it look older by like wiring the branches downward, and that you had to do so much trimming to make it look.
So, this is the first time touching a tree.
This is my first time touching a tree ever.
Awesome. Okay. I'll come back at the end and we'll have an exit interview. How's that?
Okay, sure.
All right.
And I think, see this one?
Oh, yeah.
He's a music guy.
What has he worked on?
He gets the music. He's got the front. Yeah, you got the front.
Okay, all right. So, what do you think, Adriana?
This was so fun. Time really flew by. It's such a like delicate art form. It's so interesting. I loved it. It was very involved, very careful wiring, and then you're also like getting in dirt when you're repotting.
If you had like one lesson that you learned today, what was that one lesson?
I was so curious about like I had no idea about like you need the branches to like point downward to give that illusion of age.
Awesome.
That was most interesting to me. And then also the vocabulary for the different styles, the shakan and yogi.
Yeah.
She's already an artist, so she has a pretty good eye.
Are you willing to come back for more now?
Yeah, I already paid for the membership. I pulled the trigger before I even came.
So you drink the Kool-Aid. Now you're really involved now.
Exactly,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And the stuff, down low, and this piece in here, you want to kind of clean it all up, and you can pinch it off, and all this stuff.
This ought to come off the wire.
Well, once we wire this up, we can do a whole lot. I mean, we can squat it with the wire and, make it more movement and more tight. If you like it that way, or if you want it the other way, we can, whatever you decide. It's your tree.
Can I bother? What time is that? Can I bother you really quick, sir? Your name is?
Ken Struckis.
Ken Struckis. What are you expecting out of this workshop today? Excuse me.
To get a more organized approach to starting design of a bonsai. I haven't had a whole lot of formal instruction on it, so I can get a better grounding in my basics.
Is this the first time wiring a tree, or you've done this before?
I've worked with trees before, but most of it's on my own.
Okay, so this time with an instructor?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's a more
Well, I
informative?
have some place to get information if a question arises, instead of just kind of working it out by myself. I can get some immediate feedback.
Awesome, thank you.
And then we'll worry about placing the branches, okay? So,
Now, this one is going to need some wire, right?
yes, this one and this one, we're going to wire these two together. So, yeah, tuck it in. I didn't bring my little scoop with me, but
I like that one. So Ken, what did you learn so far today?
We talked a lot about using the branches to create movement and compact the tree, and changing the whole look of the apex by taking the original apex and bending it over and making it a side branch. That's what we did here. And what was once 3 branches on the top of the tree are now all 3 side branches with a different apex.
And then if you had like learn one lesson or one gold nugget, what would that have been today?
One lesson? Well, it has something to do with wiring. The whole process of wiring was
A lesson today.
an important lesson for me to pick up today.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Sure, certainly.
All the way.
Jack, there's not a lot of tape.
Not a lot of tape. So this is more of a style.
Would that be kind of like a literati? Yeah. That sounds wonderful for this. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So then,
So you want to get, it needs a round collar in there.
yeah, it does.
But that's okay.
All right, so,
Those 2 trees you got, those are nice. So look, Lindsay, would you do?
You're wiring yourself up as if you can't move that down.
It's got a lot of nice trees.
I'm gonna interject here really quick. Your name is?
I'm Joey.
Joey, I'm Tom. Nice meeting you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
So what were you expecting out of this workshop today?
I was really just hoping for some one-on-one with somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Okay.
I've been doing bonsai since COVID.
For 4 years, 4 or 5 years now, okay.
But like all via YouTube videos,
Okay,
and that
awesome.
kind of stuff, which is fun to
Self-taught,
learn,
right, self-taught.
including this YouTube channel, right?
Okay.
And I've been in the club since August.
Okay.
But like again, I really haven't had a chance to like actually sit with somebody and learn. So this has been great to like. Well, Lindsay was good at like talking about some basics and stuff and wiring. But for me, sitting here with Mike is like invaluable because like I've never sat with anybody that actually knows what they're doing. So this has been really helpful, especially because we got a piece of material that isn't the most beginner friendly, but we got a really cool trunk, and I'm really happy with this.
All right. I'll come back to you at the end. We'll talk.
Great.
Excellent. Have fun.
Yeah, thanks.
ready?
Yeah.
Right here. So it's gonna
Yeah, that's cool.
like that.
Yeah.
So that guy goes back.
Alright, so you guys are trying to get this thing.
We had to find
Joey, so what did you learn so far today with Mike?
I think the big lesson was to think outside the box. We first got this piece of material and it didn't really seem to match what the lesson was going to be, and we sat here and we looked at it and decided on a style and moved around and tried a couple different fronts and landed on. Well, that's pretty awesome, actually. I'm actually really surprised. This is a tree, if I was at a nursery, I would have skipped. And so this has been really, it's been a challenge and interesting to work with. So,
What was your favorite part for today then?
sorry?
What was your favorite part for today?
My favorite part?
If you had one.
I learned I've been ginning the wrong way.
we're ginning backwards. I've been trying to gin from the outside and ginning in. He's like, no, just do it like this. And I was like, I learned a way easier way to do it. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Probably this one here in the front too. Oh, here we go. No problem.
Okay, since this is going this way, you have to wire clockwise. Okay, because the wire is going to come around here to bend this up. Okay, now look at the branch. So we're going to, this is another good thing. Since this branch is going to come this way, you're on that side of it. So that's going to help support it. Okay, pull out one branch. It has to have an This is the part that's bothering me. It's kind of straight. So we're going to wire.
Starting wire.
Yeah.
Couple seconds here.
Yeah.
So, what were you expecting out of this workshop today?
Just learning how to work with junipers, learning any tips and tricks that can help improve, the way I do it. Because usually at home, you don't get feedback. So just
Awesome.
things like that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. This wire, this branch.
Which one did we say? This one?
Yes, wire that one. Even small.
Could we air layer? Yeah. Like air layer this whole thing.
On this tree, and whatever.
Oh, yeah, these are just here to hold it for now. Can I take the whole stake out? Yes.
And then now, before we go anywhere else, we can look at it and decide, do we want to put any more movement in the trunk or not? I don't even know if we can with this wire. It's not quite as heavy as I would normally should be. Try to keep it as close to the trunk as you can. Try to keep it tight to the trunk.
Gotcha. With this one.
It might help take anything that's going down off the branch. Gotcha. Then we'll wire individual branches. Where it's going to go, not where. No, I'm not going to cut it off. What I want to do with this one, I'm debating about. So let's wire.
Can I stop you guys really quick? Your name is?
Ryan.
Nice to meet you, Ryan. Tom.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
What are you expecting out of this workshop today?
To learn something new, like I feel like bonsai just feels very calming and peaceful, and then like you have to focus on something. So I'm hoping to learn the skills to be able to like continue this, and then I'm notoriously bad with plants, so I think by spending more time with it, I'll be better.
Is this the first time wiring, doing anything like
Yeah,
this?
never in my life.
Okay, so this is jumping in the deep end the first time.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
So as you're wiring, you got your thumb or your finger or whatever behind the branch, so the branch won't break.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because he's not growing.
Yes.
But we should wait until we decide.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead and go.
Get up.
Yeah.
So now we're getting up to really small branches. Yeah. Look at the wire to make sure that you can not cross it. In other words, whether you go over or under it, it'll depend on.
I think under.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I will be crossing wires if I went over.
Let off pressure and twist. I don't think you break these wires. Small enough. But yeah, and just use the chopstick, and that'll tell you
when to water.
When to water. I don't do that because I have like.
So Ryan, So what happened today?
We planted my first bonsai tree. I keep saying it wrong. I thought it was bonsai. That's the other bonsai tree.
Bonsai is when you fly
a plane. Oh, I've been saying it wrong for years. Bonsai tree. And I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. I am resisting the urge to pick away.
It needs to fill in. It's lanky.
Yeah.
But it has a nice shape to it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I feel like I learned a lot. I don't think I realized that trees, you had to like shape them. For some reason, I thought they grew that way naturally.
You did a good job of wiring it. I think you did a good job of wiring it. And you made some of your own decisions on how the branch places went. I thought that was good.
You told me I had a good eye. We were cutting something, and I forget what I did. I was like, "This should go." And you're like, "Ah, good eye." And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Yeah," but I'm trying not to pick. But we planted my first bonsai tree, and it is great. Look at that.
And then, if you had like learned one lesson today or one gold nugget, what would that been?
To like look before you cut. Like I think my biggest lesson was like I would just cut away, and like Steve taught me to like actually like visualize it first, like pull a piece away and see like, oh, this is what it's gonna be, and cut it, and then also the difference between where the apexes go. It was Moyogi and Shakan.
This is kind of a.
This is like a.
It's a little of a combo, I'd say. But
Yeah,
I think it's a little more slant style.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good job. I think I did a good job.
Awesome.
I do.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Giving it shade, it could be full day shade for right now for about a week or two, and then in another couple weeks you could ease it out in a little bit more light sun. Okay, so a light shade in about a couple weeks, but right now we want to put it in almost full shade, and then keep it moist. Now we're gonna, since the root ball is established in the pot, we want to make sure you get a real fine misting kind of sprayer that's gonna not erode all the soil out of there, right? So sometimes you could stand back and just let it drip down the foliage. You could give it vitamin B1 or Super Thrive for the first couple weeks, once a week, or maybe twice a week for the first couple weeks. And don't give it any fertilizer for probably, I would say, a good month and a half to 2 months. You can start feeding. And feeding, everybody does a different type of fertilizer. You can do totally organic, you can do liquids, chemical. I use a chemical granule, but if you do liquids, they kind of leach out a little faster. So you have to do liquids a little bit more often. But anyway, so probably about a month and a half, 2 months, you can start feeding monthly. And the feeding process you want to do from about February through November, and let it rest in the winter time. So, and then when you're putting it in a spot, you're going to have it. Make sure you kind of rotate it every couple months or so it gets the light on the other side. Otherwise, it's going to go toward the sunlight. So rotate your tree. If you have the moss, the moss is going to show you that it needs water, because it's going to dry out quick. So that'll be kind of a telltale sign. But anyway, yeah, just kind of keep it on the moist side. Yes. There's an instruction sheet. Okay. And like I mentioned earlier, I got my phone number. Next month, toward the end of the month, I'm going to try to start a beginning class. There's going to only be 5 or 6 people in the class. So if you want to take my phone number, you can call me and I'll give you the details. But you come out with 5 different trees. We pot one of them at the end. So that's kind of fun too. More hands-on. All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you, instructors.
What time we do?